You're watching BBC News. Let's turn to the latest developments now from the Middle East. The UN's Defence Secretary Lloyd Austin says he has spoken to his Israeli counterpart to discuss a range of issues in the region, including the ongoing exchanges of fire on the Israel-Lebanon border and the need to finalise a broader ceasefire deal. Well, it comes as UN officials have confirmed the first case of polio in Gaza for 25 years, with the disease partially paralysing a 10-month-old baby. The head of the World Health Organization has said he's gravely concerned that efforts are underway to roll out a vaccination programme in the coming weeks. Well, let's speak live to our correspondent in Jerusalem, Wirra Davis, who's there. And Wirra, let's start with the final part of what I read out. There is a considerable alarm at that development there of polio in Gaza, not just from the WHO.
Now, we've heard from other UN agencies today confirming what had been suspected, that polio was now present in Gaza. It's been confirmed today that a baby has been infected with polio and has been partially paralysed. And of course, polio is a highly infectious disease. And the big concern is here, given the sanitary conditions, given the humanitarian crisis in Gaza, that it could spread very, very quickly. It's one reason why the UN has called for a ceasefire, not just for military reasons, but to actually allow more vaccines to be brought in and for those vaccines to be distributed effectively. Israel has pushed back a couple of times in the last few days on this, saying that a number of, well, hundreds of thousands of vaccines have already been sent into Gaza. But of course, the problem is that with such a large displaced population, with people living in such difficult conditions and with the war going on, it's very difficult to administer most, if not all, of those vaccines. So some vaccines, we learn, have gone in again in the last 24 hours. But with this confirmed case of polio and with the potential for a much bigger spread, that is another one of the considerations here, and why some people are calling for a ceasefire so those vaccines can be delivered and administered.
In terms of those ceasefire negotiations, again, all the pointers pretty bleak as it stands. How close are we, or how far away are we to getting any sort of deal?
Well, the honest answer is that we just really don't know. There are conflicting reports coming from around the region. According to Hamas officials who've spoken to the BBC now, Hamas are not actively part of these talks in Cairo. There has been no progress. They have received nothing updated. They have received nothing, as far as they're concerned, that persuades them that a ceasefire agreement is any closer. There are unconfirmed reports in parts of the Israeli media that they are perhaps close to a breakthrough, and perhaps a new proposal will be delivered by the negotiators to Hamas, who aren't part of the talks. What we do know is that Israeli, Egyptian and American negotiators are in Cairo. The sticking points from the outside might not seem to be that big. The biggest contentious issue seems to be what Israeli troops would remain in which parts of Gaza in the event of a ceasefire. There's an area, the border area between Egypt and Gaza, where perhaps both the Egyptians and Hamas would want the Israelis to leave from. Israel, through Benjamin Netanyahu, has indicated it wants to retain some sort of Israeli presence in the area. At the end of the day, it depends how much both leadership, the Hamas leadership in Yahya Sinwar and the Israeli Prime Minister in Benjamin Netanyahu, how much they're prepared to compromise in order to achieve a ceasefire and, of course, the return of the hostages. But not much concrete news coming out of Egypt as we speak.
Wirra Davis there in Jerusalem. Thanks a lot for that. Thank you.